Memorability is a trait that every game designer hopes to instill in their audience. Whether they attempt to do it through moving dialogue, stunning graphics, or sheer novelty, it's really something special when a game is able to leave an impact on its players to the point that it's remembered decades later. This kind of perennial memorability is something that's been a hallmark of Nintendo games in general, but when it comes to me and my life, nothing has quite ever grabbed me and kept me coming back year after year quite like Super Smash Bros. Just like other players of the series, I can remember my very first time playing the game. I was really young, maybe 5 or 6 years old, but I remember going to my next door neighbor's house and seeing that he had something magical called a Nintendo 64. The very first game that we tried out together was the original Super Smash Bros. Title. Now, if anyone goes back and plays that first title, you'll probably be able to see that it's a little clunky. The graphics aren't too great and the roster size is a little lackluster, but there was something about it that was just enthralling to me as a kid. I remember spending hours and hours doing 99 stock battles with my friend and forming fond memories over the game. And also forming some not so fond memories, like when he told me that the landmine item was actually a trampoline, and he lied. But it wasn't long until my family got our own Nintendo GameCube complete with the new Super Smash Bros. Game, Melee. I remember it feeling special because it was the only T-rated game that I was allowed to play at the time, but I loved that game. I would sit around all day with my brothers and play the crap out of it. I remember the pure sense of discovery that took root as we found more and more fighters, and then ran off to school the next day to share our experiences. During this early Melee era, I remember all sorts of rumors surrounding the game going around, like unlocking Sonic and Tails if you beat 20 fighters in Cruel Melee, or unlocking Toad if you hit all of the ending credits, or playing as Master Hand if you do the right inputs at the right time, although that one kind of turned out to be true. But regardless, it was this kind of fun, early playground speculation culture that enamored me with the franchise and set things up so that when Super Smash Bros. Brawl was announced for the Wii, I was ecstatic. I remember checking the Smash Dojo nearly every day to see if the roster had been updated, or if we had any news regarding an assist trophy, or really anything at all. When the game finally came, it was perfect to me. Like honestly, going back now, I can see the game's flaws and honestly have trouble appreciating it compared to the other Smash games. But for me as a kid, all I remember is waiting for my brother to get home from school so that we could unwrap it and play it for the first time. There was something so special about not needing to worry about competitive mechanics or which third-party reps are going to get into the game, and just enjoy what was handed to me. I continued to play Brawl for years until Smash 4 dropped, and then finally Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's been about 20 years since the very first time I played a Smash game, but I still have so many vivid memories, friendships formed, and fun times that stemmed from the game that shaped my childhood in some ways. And I don't think that my experience is a unique one. I mean, just look across YouTube these days, and you'll see a bunch of people like myself who've had such a love for the game that they decided to create entire videos or even entire YouTube channels dedicated to discussing the game. More than that though, you can see it in its fans' reactions to Smash announcements. Looking at reaction videos for Smash reveals has always been a favorite thing of mine to do, because you can see just how much genuine joy and excitement is associated with reveals as small as a skeleton Mii costume getting into the game. These are cheers of other people who have grown up on Smash. They're the cheers of people who probably see Smash as much more than a video game. They're the cheers of people who see it as part of their childhood. But how did it get that way? How did a simple video game shape the hearts and lives of millions of players around the globe? It all started with the vision of one man, Masahiro Sakurai. Sakurai was born in the year 1970, and his whole life he had an immense love of gaming, even developing games himself as a teenager as soon as he could save up to buy a Famicom. He cut his teeth on designing the Kirby series, but when the time came to follow it up with a new project, he teamed up with Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto to try his hand at a fighting game. Now, it's important to note that throughout his career, Sakurai had developed a personal philosophy to guide his direction, a philosophy he called Kirbyism. The tenet of this Kirbyism philosophy was to make a game that was as wide as possible in terms of accessibility, but as deep as possible in terms of challenge and replayability. You can see this in the choices that he made in the Kirby series. The actual game itself was full of interesting and fun, unique challenges, but it also allowed you to fly harmlessly above the stage if a part proved too difficult for you. When Sakurai combined this philosophy with a vision for a fighting game, the end result was a game full of Nintendo mascots that people already know, and combined with a combat system which was easy to learn but difficult to master. While other fighting games had intricate button combinations, Smash would feature a platforming element that added a whole new level to the game, avoiding the intricacies of combo memorization and making the game much easier to pick up and play. These elements, when combined, resulted in something that was really formative to a lot of people owning a gaming system at the time. Those who had grown up on Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, or Metroid all of a sudden were able to see their favorite characters in a new setting in an unprecedented crossover. We've all heard the story of people celebrating their favorite characters in the game, but what people talk about less often is all of the players like me who had Smash as one of the first entries that they really played in Nintendo's games. For me, and thousands of other people like me, Smash wasn't a celebration of gaming with characters that were already dear to my heart, or at least it didn't start that way. Smash served as some sort of portal into gaming for me, allowing me to see all of these different series that had been previously unknown to me for the first time. Many series that I discovered through Smash would grow to be some of my favorite games of all time. Smash didn't just hold a fun fighting game within itself for me, but it held promises of exploring the fields of Hyrule, traversing Onett with Ness and the gang, or playing Metroid to figure out who this awesome, mysterious masculine robot was. I believe that this is one of the things that helped Smash really leave an impact on people growing up. Nintendo games have always had the power to inspire, transform, and immerse their players, but while Zelda proved to be a self-contained experience, Super Smash Bros. Ended up being a sampler platter of the greatest games throughout history. Apart from just being a glimpse into the magical world of gaming though, Super Smash Bros. Is really a game made for everyone. Sakurai really delivered on his philosophy here. How many of you can relate to this story? You just finished a long day at school, and you rush home, toss off your backpack, and immediately jump into gaming with your friends or siblings, and then you play games full of laughs, arguments, and cheers until your parents pry you away from the console to do your homework. To me, that was a weekly, if not daily occurrence. Smash proved to be the glue that helped strengthen relationships between me and some of my best friends. It gave me a fun way to spend time with my siblings, bond with my next door neighbor, and even up into my college years, I broke the ice with some of my roommates by playing the game into the early hours of the morning. Super Smash Bros. Had something special built into its fabric, where, similar to Pokemon, it was an inherently social experience. While Zelda played as a deeply immersive personal journey, the joy of Super Smash Bros. Was that it brought people together, rather than being a self-contained experience. The playground politics, the inter-sibling playtime, and the pick-up-and-go nature of the game, all of it served the greater end of weaving its players into a community. The Super Smash Bros. Community can be divided into a few different subsections. The first is the casual player, which is where nearly everyone starts. This is your boss playing the game with his son, the kid down the street booting up the game for the very first time, etc. And then we have what I call the speculation circle. These are the people more deeply invested in the game than your average players. This started off as your playground rumor spreaders, but with the advent of the internet, evolved into people having conversations over Smash message boards to what it finally is today, a community of people tied together primarily by watching similar videos and engaging in conversations online about hot topics in the game. That said, there is one final category that I want to give some time to discuss: the competitive community. Right now, there is a lot of controversy around the competitive Smash community due to allegations brought forth against some of the top players of the game. Players that many of us within the competitive community knew and looked up to. It is true that right now this seems to be the loudest aspect of the community, but although it currently seems to be the most prominent and defining characteristic, the vast majority of the competitive Smash community paints a different story. Naturally, when people spend a lot of time talking about a game, they're bound to begin playing it together frequently, and so as a consequence of that, players try to get better and better at the game so that they can beat their friends. The logical conclusion here is that they eventually form a tight-knit scene of players, with each trying to be the very best that they can, all while trying to see who the best in the world is. While this scene began developing during the Smash 64 years, it really hit its stride with the release of Super Smash Bros. Melee. What started as a group of friends playing in their garage to beat other people within the city grew to a group of people within the same state battling it out for the top spot. And soon rumors spread between states with better players on the other side of the country, and with these rumors came Smash players traveling for the very first time to attempt to establish their dominance in the game. This battle for dominance extended beyond just the internal competitions to discover the best player of all time, and also became a journey to seek legitimacy as a fighting game, and to be allowed to compete in tournaments like EVO. This all culminated in a competition between 17 different games to see which one would be featured in the final slot at EVO 2020. 2013. EVO was one of, if not the biggest fighting game tournaments at that time, so this was a big deal to the competitive Smash community. The battle for the slot was decided by a charity drive to support the research of breast cancer. Injustice raised $77, Soul Calibur raised $407, even PlayStation All-Stars raised $1,000. Super Smash Bros. Melee raised $94,683, earning its spot as the featured game at EVO and giving nearly $100,000 to fight cancer just so that people could play a game on a stage. While this proved to be a foundational experience for the community, I think it's interesting to note the kind of passion that's required for a group of ragtag Smash players to raise nearly $100,000 to play in a tournament. While it does seem like an unprecedented and mind-blowing achievement, I would argue that this is the natural progression of those days on the playground spent by hundreds of kids talking about the latest Smash rumors. It's the same passion that kept students at school studying frame data instead of French. It's the same passion for the game that extends beyond just Japan and the United States, but has found itself into dozens of countries and cultures and millions of new people who all enjoy the same accessible, deep, and addictive gameplay. I suppose what I'm trying to say here is that Super Smash Bros. Isn't just a game to a lot of people. Through its intelligence, design, and accessibility that I just mentioned, it's become a way to not only celebrate newfound and established favorite characters, but as a way to foster and enrich newfound and established relationships. It's a gateway into some of the most memorable games that a person can ever play. This is why people get so excited when they see their favorite characters come to the game as DLC. It's probably why I have a channel where people watch me talk about DLC. It just provides one more access point for people to play as their childhood icons in Smash, while allowing that same kind of access to new players who might be able to enjoy the series for the first time. With each of these experiences added together, when it comes to games that leave an impact on their players, it really does make Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to stick around for a while, there's some videos on screen right now handpicked just for you. Hit subscribe if you want to see more content like this. This was a new style of video for me, so if you want to see more videos like this, then let me know what I ought to cover next in the comments. Come talk to me on Discord for further discussion by using the link in the description. Stay smashing.